Welcome to the DC Watchtower, a nerdy bunch podcast where we discuss DC movies and TV shows. My name's Dave, and joining me because he thinks this podcast is a great way for him to impress his wife is my co-host Andrew. What's up, Andrew?
It is. She loves the podcast. What's up, David?
We're here to talk episode 5 of Creature Commandos, titled The Iron Pot. Frankenstein is nursed to health by a new friend. Later, Flag and Frankenstein team up to disprove Cersei's vision about the princess. Andrew, we're getting further on in the show. I'm not sure how many episodes this season. I think we've definitely passed our halfway point. All right? We must have passed our halfway point. Find out when we do your magic. Elevator music.
7? Really? Oh, shit.
Really? Wow. Okay, we have definitely passed the halfway point a long time
Yeah,
ago.
wow. Only 2 left. Interesting.
2 left. Yeah, it is interesting. I will say right now, I've definitely come to the conclusion that this is not a show for just anybody. Not saying I'm not enjoying it. I am enjoying it, but I think it's one of those shows that you kind of have to have some preconceived notions of expectations. It's not like certain shows where, like Arcane, where I'd be like, yo, check this shit
And
out.
you got to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. This is, wait, I have to ask you a few questions. Do you like XYZ? Do you like DC stuff? Do you like, okay, fine. Now,
Yeah.
it's one of those shows. I feel also this is less about the story and more about introducing to characters,
Yeah, for sure.
right? For better, for worse. It's not
Mhm.
necessarily a bad thing, but it's just like, this is more like, it feels like prologue. Or is it prologue, epilogue?
No, pro.
Yeah,
That's
prologue,
before.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It feels like prologue to these characters, and then in a future movie or TV show, we're going to get the real story. Because I think even the story that we're getting now seems like background at the same time, right? This whole story of Cersei and what's going on with his country, blah,
The
blah.
princess, yeah.
Because even by the end of this episode, I feel like that storyline doesn't really move that much.
That's
Just a little bit. Though I will say it does have us asking certain questions of what we might have thought previously.
Yeah,
Right?
fair.
Where you're like, okay, what we thought after last week was like we knew certain things for certain. Now we're like, is it so certain? I'm not so sure it's so certain. What do you think of this episode, spoiler free?
I think that was a good breakdown. You're right. I enjoyed this, but it's definitely not one of my favorite shows. But at the same time, I'm enjoying seeing just the pure creativity and,
I think the
free
characters make it
reign.
work. We like the
They
characters.
do very much. And like the highlight moments are great, right? Like phosphorus. Woo. uh, like when it gets hot, it gets really hot, right? But you're right. The story itself, I don't necessarily care about it like that. And it's not. It doesn't even feel like an Avenger level threat or like a Doomsday level threat per se. And not that it's meant to. It just kind of feels like things are happening, and we're seeing how those things play out. But I mean, what I do like is it's super quirky. The interactions with the characters are very kind of unique.
The best parts, I
Especially
find.
I agree. And I think, even the quote unquote surprise of this episode, just the introduction of a character that I wasn't kind of expecting to see.
But
I
makes
think
sense.
it does a lot of sense. And I think that's why it makes sense that you kind of called it a prologue, because it's more kind of setting the tone for, not even setting the tone, just telling us how some characters exist in this world and how they all work together in a weird way, but it still kind of works. Almost like Suicide Squad, but mixed with Doom Patrol or something like that. So again, like you said, I'm enjoying watching it. I'm curious that there are only 2 more episodes, but I guess this is also not a show where I was expecting like conclusions, right? It's just more how does the mission end? And you're right. I think it's gonna lead into like future ramifications for the entire kind of DCU and world. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Is it one of my favorite shows? Probably not, but do I want to talk about the spoilers? Yes, I do.
All right, let's go straight into spoilers. I'm going to break it down to 3 kind of narratives. You have the Eric and excuse me, and Rick
Rick,
kind of narrative. You have what Task Force M is doing right now in
yeah,
Pakistan, and then
yeah.
you have, which is unexpected, Eric's flashback story.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't think I'll see his, and it's not necessarily a flashback story. It's just what happened after
Yeah.
the bride left him in the fire. So it's not
Yeah.
necessarily a flashback
It's like
per
a
se. It's just
slice of
how
his
he got there.
past. Hmm.
Because usually it's almost similar to Weasel, where it's not an origin story, but it's a story of the past and
Yeah.
how he kind of caught up to the team. Um, so we'll start
Yeah.
off with Rick and Eric, right? Last week, Rick wouldn't handle. It's like, no, no, I don't care what anyone's saying. I know my girl.
I'm
That
whipped.
he was that good. It was
Like,
whipped.
nah,
It was that I
there's
don't
no way.
care. I forgot to mention last week when he was like, Amanda, I know her, and she was like, Amanda,
And
who are you
like,
talking
who
to?
gave you the
We're
right
not on a
to call
first
me?
name.
What? Oh my god. This boy.
Bases.
That's what's crazy about him. He's forgotten all of his training just because of one lady. I mean, all right,
Do
Rick.
you forget yourself? Do you forget yourself? I did like, they're following McPherson, who's the Themyscirian consultant that was like verified
Expert.
that no,
Hmm.
Cersei is
It's
correct.
clairvoyant for
Okay.
sure.
Who
Hmm.
we who we find out is Clayface, which makes sense
Dum
because
dum
that scene
dum.
when he was like lesbians,
Lesbians.
where is this going?
Like
I
what?
thought I thought she, believing that who she was, I thought she was going to teach a lesson in how, men of our world view Themyscirians and how the ignorant view things like that, right? I thought she was
You
making a
were
joke.
locked in for a real lecture, basically.
Yes, exactly. You find out it's Clayface, and it's like, oh, well, that makes complete sense. And before we get into that awesome fight, and before I ask you if
Ugh,
you think
all right.
Rick died,
Ugh.
I want to ask you, go reverse, reverse, reverse. The fact that this wasn't McPherson, that was Clayface. The fact that Clayface was still like carrying on as McPherson, right? It's not just one of, hey, I'm
Yeah.
McPherson, I'm gonna go back,
Yeah.
carrying on. And McPherson's killed, next sliced.
Yeah.
Now are you starting to think maybe Rick might be onto something and Cersei might be lying? What are your thoughts there?
I don't know if Cersei is lying. Maybe she is, but we've seen this in shows before. Just because you see the future doesn't mean that's the whole story, right? Okay, why did what is the why and the reason for the princess's actions, right? For all you know, this could be the precursor to that, right? Like it now seems like she's going up against the American government essentially, and maybe this is what causes the aggression, right? Like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost. Um, and then maybe there are just side things happening because I was like, it feels like somebody hired Clayface, right? I don't think he just
Exactly. Exactly.
randomly said, "Oh, let me kill this lady and take over her life," because if so, he'd have done that to Rihanna or something. Like it's not just gonna take this random Themyscirian lady. So like, and it honestly has Amanda Waller written all over it. So because this is her mo. Reasons I can't tell you. I mean, we never really know. But point being that I don't know that Cersei may be wrong 100%.
Or
But
maybe she's manipulative
she's
too.
maybe right. And again, like I said, the future, just because you saw a future does not mean you know the details of the steps that led to that future
Mhm.
or the why, right? So I think that's what's going to be interesting because yeah, it would almost suck for Rick to have gone through that and and be wrong. Because damn, that, that was just not fair. Ugh.
I do love Rick and Eric's interactions. The
Mhm.
banter, I think it's hilarious. I think my best, as annoying as he is, my favorite
Frank
quotes are from him.
Frankenstein.
He's just so hilarious in his stupidity when Rick's talking on the phone trying to warn the princess. He's like,
Like, did you
tell,
tell her about me or something, right?
tell her about how we've been hanging out and everything. He's like, shut up. No, tell her I'm a good person.
Rick is like,
tell
oh, what? Not now.
Tell
Like,
her to
read
put
the
a good
room.
word in for me. Would you shut up? You didn't tell anything about me, did you?
He's like, the
It's like
bride is trying to
what?
kill her. Why would
Right?
she?
It's like maybe we're best friends. How's she gonna vouch to the bride about how much I've changed and what a rad guy I am if you won't tell her we're buds? And then he's like, I'm beginning to suspect this whole plan makes absolutely no sense from my point of view.
And that was a great line because it actually doesn't make sense, obviously, from his point of view, like at all. I'm happy he caught on to that. And it's funny that Frankenstein is actually so one track minded, right? Like
Right.
he only thinks about the bride and killing, right? Like when he was like, "Oh, should I kill her? Should I kill the students?" It's like, "Yo,
Right.
bro, like it's like you said, be a hero," and it's like that's not what heroes do. Like, what if, what do
Right.
you think this is? But
I,
all I can think about is that
I like how they're kind of how he thinks hiding is. He's like, "What do you think you're hiding right now? I don't give a shit." He's just upset. He's, "I don't care. I don't give a shit." Even though hiding at the school and the kids are just
But the
watching
bushes, it's like, oh,
right? It's
what
like,
are my contacts or something, and my glasses.
I thought this is
So funny.
hilarious. All right, let's talk about Clayface and that fight.
Right.
I love the design of Clayface. I already revealed Clayface. First, Clayface playing on Xbox. I wonder if that's like usually when you see things like that, it's like X machine or Y box. This
Yeah,
is straight up
straight to
Xbox.
Xbox.
So
In
I
Mortal
was like,
Kombat, right? I think
you're
he
right.
was.
I was like, oh, interesting. I wonder how they got that. But I liked fun fact also, the voice actor Alan Tudyk, who I think also plays characters in this show. I think he
Yeah,
plays Phosphorus. Yeah. He also played Clayface in the
in
Harley
something
Quinn
before.
series
Mm-hmm.
as a very different version of Clayface.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I liked this one how you see him to fight when they're walking past Clayface, but like how Clayface's face can morph into other
Yeah,
parts of the body.
yeah.
You know, you get the Bane Batman backbreaker
That was just
on
so
Rick.
unfair. Oh my god.
Ugh. What
I
did
was
you
just
think
like,
of that fight?
you didn't even deserve that. It's funny because Rick has had a fight with Phosphorus and Frankenstein, right?
Mhm.
And honestly, he was punching above his weight class in those two fights, and I was
Mhm.
impressed. But it was quite realistic, right? Because Clayface is actually like Batman struggles, right? And
Right.
others like he is just super uh weird to fight, I guess. But damn, I did not think he was just gonna get rocked like that. Like he
Oof.
literally just got smacked, beaten, back broken. Um, I don't know. Is he not dead? I mean,
Only reason I don't think he's dead is because of behind the scenes knowledge that Frank Grillo was cast so that he can play the character in live action. But then again,
okay.
for this is comic books. It could be like live action set in the past or
Yeah,
live action set in a parallel universe. I don't know. You know?
like it'd be interesting because he got messed up, man.
Mhm.
I, even if he's not dead, he's very severely damaged and bruised, and there has maybe one rib cage left. Because even we saw, even Batman needed quite a while to heal
Right.
from what Bane did to him, and
Mhm.
this was worse than that because he got extra hits before that. So
And
yeah,
then
that was brutal.
Batman's probably helped out by his suit, right?
Hmm.
Rick Flag is just normal clothes.
Wearing this
Crack,
nice
there's no
little yellow shirt.
there's no
So
protection.
that was actually crazy.
Hold
Um,
on, Flag. Don't die because I have so many questions before you do.
like, did the bride ever mention me?
Like,
It's like,
is that a yes? In your
just like
estimation,
how?
did she say my name fondly? I was
Oh my
dying.
goodness.
Is that a yes? Just dying. But that's yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Rick or maybe again, this is comic books. Maybe he does die and somehow pull back. That could be
Because
another.
you know, Lazarus spit, or I mean,
Yeah,
not that,
exactly.
but there are ways where it could happen, right?
Yes.
And I don't know. I'd be surprised if he's not dead. He might not be, but I feel like he's for sure out for the count, right?
Mm, mm, mm.
He's not back next episode unless, like I said, it's Lazarus spit. Even that takes some time.
Yeah, right, right. Um, talking about Eric, we get a flashback of Eric, like I mentioned, of what happens to him after the bride left him. His
Hmm.
body was found
Burned.
by this old blind
Beautifully.
gypsy woman. It's like, gypsies. He
Holmes.
somehow hates gypsies. Right. And you know, she ends up getting a bond with him. And when he wants to leave, she's like, oh, she doesn't like you. And he's just like, there are complex mating rituals between humans you don't understand. No one loves a woman who makes things too easy. I was dying.
Yeah, but I mean, but is he wrong? Is he actually wrong?
That's why I was dying. I looked at my wife. I was like, yep.
Yep. We all know it. We all know it.
And so what did you think of that flashback there? Because I don't know, you're seeing some like nice side to him, so to speak. But why does he
Nice.
kill her? Do you think?
The funny is it even? I guess it's not, but nice can be skewed, right? Because even
Yeah.
the way she was like, "Don't leave me alone," and he's like, "Oh no, I'd never do that."
Right.
Bashes her head in. I'm like, is that nice? I mean, in his mind, that was a mercy, but like that's the best way you could get her. Like you have to do multiple hits,
Right.
bro. I don't know, use the shotgun or something. And maybe you don't want to make noise. But he's interesting. Um, I guess he's a monster at the end of it, right? And all he cares
Mhm.
about is the bride, and somehow he always ends up resulting to killing. Um, so I felt bad for the gypsy lady, even when he told her, "Oh, if I was blind, I'd kill myself." It's like, well,
I am
you,
dying.
you don't say that. Literally the worst thing to say to a blind person ever. And she even shows him how to use his imagination
right?
properly,
Right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, and he's even like he cares about making sure the dog doesn't see it.
right?
He's
Because
like, oh,
he
he wouldn't
locked the dog
understand.
out and then took him with him.
Right. So I'm
So
curious, like, as
interesting.
to why did he not just leave and why did he kill her? Or was it just a case of because he's batshit crazy? There's no rhyme or reason.
I think it's that. It's remembering. I mean, he killed the doctor as well. I mean, well, he was actually having sex with the bride, but
But that's what I'm saying.
separately.
He usually kills when he's reactionary, right?
Yeah.
Killed his pilots that were helping him.
Mm,
Kill, Whereas this one, it was just more of, okay, I spent too much time. I'm good. I'm leaving. I have to kill you
mm,
first.
yeah.
Like, usually that would be, oh, you know all my secrets. I don't want people to know about me.
Hmm.
Or like, spoiler for Penguin here, oh, you're too close to me. People can use you against me.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was not the case because she's some secluded gypsies in the middle of nowhere. So
Yeah.
why? So again, and like you
It's a
said,
weird mercy in
it's
his
just his
mind.
craziness. He's just weird. Yeah, he's just weird and crazy. Maybe he's just like, nah, you're blind. You should die. That kind of thing. Whereas, like you said, a weird mercy. I'm doing you a favor. You can't go through
Yeah.
life like this. Yeah, and yeah, he's just his weirdness. I wonder if we're going to get back to that because also, just my thinking, why did we have that flashback? Not that I didn't like it, I enjoyed it, but in terms of serving the larger narrative, I felt like
Yeah.
we didn't learn more about Frank than we already did. Because usually the flashbacks inform us on characters,
Yeah. About the
right?
character. Yeah.
This one didn't really tell us. Again, not criticism. It's more curiosity of was there a purpose that we haven't yet seen of having that
Mm.
flashback, right? Is there a purpose to that, or was it just a random
To
flashback? I'm not
show us
so
that
sure.
he's super crazy and to
Right,
emphasize the
exactly.
point.
um, let's talk about Task Force M being led by the bride. They
Yes.
come under false pretenses that they're here to do some additional protection, or they can't talk about.
I'm an invisible enemy. Like, we can't speak
Right.
classified.
And slowly Alexei gets information and realizes that he's been lied to. And like an idiot, doesn't think about how he's going to really play this out because what the did you think was going to happen with all these
Like
superpowered people in the
you're in a
got with him?
car with superhuman people, right? Like
You pull
you
out a
gotta
gun
play
on them?
cool. Like you
You pull
gotta
out a
play cool
gun?
stuff.
Like,
Ah,
what? Of course you're
but
gonna get killed.
but still, shout out Phosphorus, man. He wastes zero time. We mentioned this. I feel like that guy is just a pure villain. Like
Oh, yeah,
he
honestly,
doesn't
his
have any
backstory,
redeeming. Just like damn,
it's
he took
villain.
him out so quick.
Just like took the whole face like, "Damn it, Lexi." I mean, Phosphorus had some good moments this episode.
Hmm. When he started taking his clothes off, I was like, oh.
Uh,
Somebody
uh,
should be very afraid if a person like that is taking their clothes off, right? Like, like why not just burn the clothes too? Like, I don't. There's so many problems with that. If I would literally run away, I would no way whatsoever.
I've never seen the middle finger used as a weapon as such before.
Right?
Right to their faces,
No,
and then even
even
even the foot.
yeah, I was gonna say when he stepped on that guy, I was like, oh, like,
Oh, and you see the
I actually felt that.
aftermath of it.
Hmm.
You see the eyes and like, oh, damn, insane.
Terrible, terrible,
Um,
terrible ways to go. Honestly,
where do you think the future is going to go with the team there? They're separated and on the run.
it's it's interesting, especially now that Rick is quote unquote out for the count, and he told Frank to tell the bride the truth.
To tell the truth.
I'm wondering what
Yeah,
truth.
yeah.
I'm wondering what truth he's gonna tell though. Is it like, oh, I love you, or did he mean tell the truth? Like tell them what happened here. I'm not sure that message is gonna be delivered properly.
Has Frank been paying
Um,
attention? Like, does he
I
know
feel
what Rick's truth is?
that's my thing. Like, what truth are you talking about? Truth about the mission, truth about Clayface, truth about the mascara, or just like truth that I killed the doctor because I love you, um,
Mm,
which doesn't help anyone really.
mm.
But it's definitely going to be an interesting one. And then even sorry, what's her name? Fish lady, Nina. Nina.
Yeah.
I just keep looking at her like, what is your
Yeah,
purpose?
exactly. What are you
What are
doing?
you? I'm expecting
What are you?
either next episode or finale we get more on her, or I don't know because she just literally seemed like dead weight. It seems like they carried a
Well, this again,
goldfish to a war.
and this is what I talk about this show. I don't know if it's done a good job of pacing its narrative correctly. Because some things we
Mhm.
find and some things are dragged. And when you look
Yeah.
at the overall story, I was rewatching the episodes again because my wife had never watched the show, so I was catching up with her.
Okay.
And then getting the context of okay, what started all of this?
Yeah.
Well, this country, Pakistan, the princess reached out to the American government because they have oil reserves and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
we want to share
Or
oil with you. Let's do
America said,
business."
"Yes, don't mind if I do."
Yeah, exactly, and that's literally what set things off. And and
Mm.
and then you have Cersei who comes in like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill her." So USA peeps are like, "Task Force M, go and protect her."
Yeah.
And we find out, oh, maybe she doesn't need protecting because Cersei was maybe protecting us from her, and maybe that's wrong. Like I feel like we're at episode 5, and that's the
Mhm.
story. I don't know. I don't know
It's
how strong
like it
a
could be
story that
stronger,
is,
to be honest.
right?
Yeah. Just
Because and especially if you're gonna be vague with the story, at least make it a mystery. Because we review
mm-mm.
other shows like Silo
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff where you have the larger narrative that we're building on, but it's
Mm,
usually a mystery that we're
mm.
interested in, like, ooh, what's going to happen? Whereas
Yeah.
this one doesn't feel like a fun mystery to unravel.
No, not really.
In a sense, is like I don't know how I feel. Like, how would you? Is there a difference if you feel if Ilyana is good or bad? Does that make you feel any different?
I don't even think so because I feel like we
Exactly.
haven't really interacted with her like that. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, she's bad. Okay. I mean,
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Is
yeah.
I'll be like, okay, she's bad. Okay, she's good. I don't know if I care either way
Yeah.
narratively, right? And what I think what keeps me is that I like these characters. I do. I really like the
Mhm.
characters a lot, and I think the
Mhm.
character stuff, the character moments, make this fun. And seeing some of their backstory is fun, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I care about the main storyline, like this mission that they're on.
Yeah.
You know, like cool thing. Action's cool, right? So sure, but I don't know if it's moving in a pace in a direction that I'm like, oh wow, this is an interesting story to tell with these people. I almost wish
Mm.
we went back to what we thought the show would be originally, where it was, they go on multiple missions as
Yeah.
opposed to one big mission,
Yeah.
right? To see different characters. Each week is a different mission. We meet
Yeah.
different characters, blah blah blah. Who can stop a monster, but other monsters, things like that.
Yeah.
I thought we'd see
Exactly.
that, but
That
yeah,
that made it maybe a bit more interesting because you're right. I don't know that this storyline is strong enough to hold it all together. Because like you said,
yeah,
I just don't. I care more about Frankenstein and the bride just
right, right.
conversation than what is happening, which is meant to be a high level threat. Um, and yeah, just like I said, with 2 more episodes, I'm just very curious as to how it's all going to be tied together
Hmm.
without feeling rushed per se. It might just be rushed. I mean, that may be this may not be a show that's meant to really have, like I said, a specific or particular conclusion. It's just going to end
Hmm.
the way it ends, and then we pick up from the next
Hmm.
thing in the pipeline. But
Hmm.
like you said, I do enjoy the characters, like the interactions. I like seeing how different characters work together, right? It's just a little. It definitely feels lopsided. I feel like Phosphorus has gotten a good amount of showtime. Weasel's gotten some good action. The Bride as well. And then Nina, I'm like, I don't know what you're doing.
Hmm.
Just like, why are you here? Go back
But
home,
even
please.
even Phosphorus, right? Yes, we've
Mhm.
seen him do some cool stuff, but because we yet to have backstory, I don't really
Yeah,
know Phosphorus
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Except for that he's a bad guy. We know Weasel a bit more. We at least a
yeah,
little bit more. We know the bride a bit more. You know, uh, 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 Amanda Waller had mentioned that Nina would be the best person that Rick could use to connect with the team. We've seen none
yeah.
of that.
But like, I didn't see that at
Right?
all. Like,
Not seen that at all. We thought that she'd be this glue for the team, but not
yeah, like
really.
a,
Yeah.
a, a mediator, right? Or like,
Right.
calming people down when they go too far, or
Right.
maybe
Exactly.
making Phosphorus not be as batshit
The
crazy
voice
as
of
he
reason.
is. But yeah, it feels like she's just been a deadweight, like getting
Right.
kidnapped
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
breaking her glass helmet that she brought to a gunfight. So confusing.
And it's almost But then the opposite of that is almost like, which is why I feel they're doing, it's almost like they're setting her up
Mhm.
like that on purpose, so then she can just go Avatar state in the last episode. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, but then that's
yeah,
just like leaning on spectacle because it would be
cop out.
cool, it'd be amazing
Yeah,
to watch, but
but there was
okay,
no
but
build up.
still just spectacle. There was no build up. It's just
Yeah,
like he just left us to be like, oh wait, she's actually super powerful this whole time.
yeah.
It's just like a hand of God situation. Where it just comes out. It feels like it'll come out of nowhere. But again, I think this is a show that if you would know before watching it. We said this before, whether you're in or not, you would know.
Hmm.
It won't change your mind if you've kind of made your mind up
No,
beforehand.
definitely
Um,
not.
2 episodes to go. Again, I'm not sure where it's going, but I'm curious to see where it goes, and I'm curious to see
For
the
sure.
future of these characters. I don't think Rick is dead. I think somehow we will see him again. What do you nerdies think of this show? Do you think we're wrong? Maybe you think that this show is for a larger audience.
Amazing.
Let us know. Find us on social media at The Nerdy Bunch, or you can find us an email, thenerdybunchpodcast@gmail.com. We do like to hear your thoughts and your opinions.
Yes.
And are you any of you married people out there? Does this podcast impress your significant other? Let us know on The Nerdy Bunch. Like,
And if
Andrew's
not,
wife.
tell us why not.
So we can pivot and make some changes. Tell your spouses about us. Tell us that we're best friends.
And the show is all about
How the-
marriage. Look at Frank and
Right.
the bride. It's just all about marriage.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, David.
My name's English Dave, and this has been a Nerdy Bunch presentation of the DC Watchtower, and we spoke about Creature Commandos episode 5. And as always, Andrew,
Keep it nerdy.
peace.